welcome back to my channel. Today I have something very exciting to talk about, and that is the fall releases that I'm most excited about. So fall is here, and that brings a bunch of books, more than I actually thought there were gonna be, that I really want to read, and I thought, why not share them with you? So here we are, and let's get started because there are a few of them and I'm just so excited to talk about it. The first one, it's coming out on September 29th. I'm using my tablet because my memory is like that of a goldfish and I will not remember all the dates. So yeah, we're using the tablet. And September 29th, and we have Sky Hunter by LaRue, which is her new duology, I think it's gonna be. Pretty sure it's gonna be a duology, and it's just in this future, or not really sure if it's in the future or something, but the point is that the world is conquered by the Federation and there is just one remaining free city that is called Mara or something about that, and they have an elite military force called the Strikers, and we focus on one of them whose name is Stalin, and she's a striker that is fighting against the Federation, and the Federation are supposed to be very cruel and they use mutant monsters to attack and conquer everything. So the concept is pretty interesting. I think it's gonna be darker than most of LaRue's books, which I'm very excited about because I really want to read it. And I honestly thought that this was gonna be an adult book, but it's actually young adult, which I'm not complaining, I just thought it was gonna be something a little different. But yeah, it's young adult and it's sci-fi. And I've been aware of this book for quite some time. I think she first said that she was writing it in 2018 and it's been on my shelves since then. So I'm very excited to finally get to read it so soon. And I have a bit of a love-hate relationship with LaRue because I love some of her books and the other ones I find kind of meh. Not completely hate, but you know, meh. So I don't know how this one's gonna go, but it's promising. And yeah, in the same day, September 29th, we also have A Deadly Education by Naomi Novik. Fun fact, I'm kind of in love with Naomi Novik, even though I have never read even one of her books, but they just look so good that I love her in concept already, and I don't know, it makes me excited that she wrote this, even though I have never read one of her books. Fun fact. And the whole thing, it's just a school of magic, but a lot darker and a lot more dangerous, and we follow, I don't know, one of the students. I think it's just one of them that's gonna be the main character. Yeah, it's a lot more dangerous than normally, and it has a lot of death in it, or at least the synopsis has a lot of death in it, which I can get behind. I'm very excited about all the darker aspects of the book. It's the first Princess Coloman's duology, and the second book already has a name, which is The Last Graduate. Yes, The Last Graduate, which makes me think that it's already really planned, and that makes me even more excited about it. And I don't know, I just am really excited for the whole idea of the book. And let's be honest, the cover is beautiful. I have a thing for covers that are very simple and that have like gold and black. I just love it. So I'm very excited for that book. Then on October 6th, we have another couple of books coming out. The first one, it's The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by B.E. Schwab. This is a standalone book, and I have already talked a few times about this book in this channel because I'm so excited about it. The first time I heard about this was on Schwab's Instagram when she started talking that she had the idea for this book, and she has been writing it for a very long time and all of that, and just the concept and the fact that she has taken so long to writing it makes me really excited, and I've heard amazing things about it. It's an adult fantasy, which I'm here for it, and it's just about this girl Annie who was very desperate one day, and so desperate that she ended up doing a pact with the devil, which I don't really know what it entails, but one of the things that she has to go through is that now every person that she meets will forget her, and not like in the long run, but immediately, like they get struck with amnesia and she's erased from their memory as soon as they lose her off their sight. And that's a very lonely existence, but you know, she's used to it. She just keeps going, and she has been living like this a few centuries until the impossible happens, and a boy, I think it's a boy, I remember like it's a boy, but a boy remembers her, and nobody really knows why that is, because she still has the course, I suppose, that she got into. So it sounds very emotional, and I'm all here for all the emotional drama and all of it. So I'm very, very excited, and also the cover, it's stunning. Just the cover is very important to me. I won't buy a book that I don't think the cover is pretty, so I have issues, people. Next one, it's The Tower of Nero by Rick Riordan, and this is the last book in the Trials of Apollo series, which is also the last book in the Percy Jackson saga universe, whatever you want to call it. Riordan says so, and that makes me really, really sad. I'm already sad that it's the last book in the Trials of Apollo, but now I'm so much more sadder that it's also the last book in the Percy Jackson universe, like book. So I don't know, it's gonna be really emotional just because of that. And the whole idea of the books is that the god Apollo got into the bad side of the gods, especially Zeus, after the events in Heroes of Olympus. So he's exiled to Earth in the body of a very gangly human called Lester Papadopoulos. And you know, he's not very thrilled about that, but he has to do some tasks if he wants to regain his immortality and his godliness. But he gets into trouble immediately after arriving on Earth, and it's saved by one Meg McCaffrey, who will be his constant companion through all these tasks that he has been doing in the last 4 books. And that's it in a shoebox, and it's really interesting. I really like it. I love the character growth that Apollo goes through, and it's gonna be really emotional to see the culmination of all of this and the decision that he's gonna have to make, because I'm sure he's gonna have to make a pretty important decision at the end of all of it. And I'm just not ready for it. Definitely I'm not ready for it all to end, but it's gonna end, and what can you do? It is a middle grade fantasy mythology book, which I love, and I'm gonna have to reread the Percy Jackson series, the 21 books or so that it has, next year, because this year I definitely don't have the time for, but next year you bet that I'm gonna be rereading it. Then on October 13th, we have Brother Son by T.J. Klune, which is another conclusion to a series, this one the Green Creek series, and again, super emotional because of that. And the Green Creek series starts way back with Wolf's Song, and we follow Ox through the years. Literally, he grows up in the book from a boy to a man, and a lot of things happen in that time, and we follow all of them. But basically, the event that catalyzed these changes in his life that are gonna mold him, it's the family that moves at the house at the end of the lane that has been empty for as long as Ox can remember, and suddenly it's inhabited by the Bennets, a very different family that will change his whole life. From the name of the book, I'm pretty sure you can guess what's going on there, which I just love. It's adult fantasy paranormal, which love the paranormal aspect most of the time, though I'm not a huge fan. Anyway, so pumped. I love this series so much. I've been waiting really hard for this book to come, but now that it's so close, I don't want it to be released, and I just want to enjoy everything again, and I'm not ready, and I'm in denial. Yes. Then we have Plain Bad Heroines by Emily M. Danforth, coming out on October 20th, so it's a little ways off, but I'm so excited about it. It's, for what I understand, you have this boarding school, which is the Brookhant School for Girls, and in the 1900s it was a very nice boarding school until several murders happened in there, very mysterious, very gruesome murders happened, and it has to close. And about 100 years later, in the present time, a book has been written about the events that transpired in the place, and wouldn't you know, the book is picked to become a movie. So interesting. So moving forward, the movie is being recorded in the same boarding house that it's all of this happened, and you know, things start to happen that are very interesting, and you don't know if reality and the past are being mixed, or it's just Hollywood doing a very good job in the movie set, or it's the curse and the haunting of the house finally taking its place in its new inhabitants. And it's just a horror book, which I just got into horror, so I'm very excited about this adult horror book. It's also historical fiction, and it just sounds so dark and mysterious, and I'm not a huge fan of haunted houses, mostly because I've never been very into horror, so I don't know how I'm gonna like it, but it sounds really interesting, and it has a few aspects that I think I'm really gonna enjoy, like the whole book closing that has a lot to do with all this drama that is going on apparently. So I'm gonna enjoy it a lot, and I hope it spooks me. Then we have a book that I've been waiting forever for it to come out, and that is Rhythm of War by Brandon Sanderson, the fourth book in the Stormlight Arcane series. And no, it is not the last book, it's just the fourth one. Because the series, it's apparently gonna have like 10 books. I'm not complaining, it sounds really good. And I'm gonna do my best to explain what the Stormlight Arcane is, because it's very complex. But let's just say that we follow three main characters that are gonna move the story forward, and we have first Kaladin, a dark-eyed a slave that was formerly an doctor apprentice, and now it's forced to fight in a war, in a constant and perpetual war in the Shattered Plains. And we also follow Shannon, who is very desperate to save her family, and she will do whatever she needs to do to save her family. And we have Dalinar, allied general in the great army of Alekar, and who is fighting in the same Shattered Plains where Kaladin is, but he has a little bit of amnesia and can't remember anything about his late wife, and it's also now hearing a voice that is guiding him. They will start discovering that Leon's past are maybe influencing their present time more than they thought, and maybe those Leons weren't so much Leons as they were realities, and they are now back here to hunt them and to extract the cost and the tally that it needed. So that's a very succinct kind of explanation of the whole thing. It's very complex, but also you have the world where the light-eyed people are like the elite, and you have the dark eye, which are considered less, literally because of the color of their eyes, which has a very important explanation, but that's another thing. Yeah, it's just a very, very complex world that has so many layers, and you need to read it because it's so good, and a real masterpiece of world building that I'm just in love with since the moment I read it. And since the moment I read the first book, The Way of Kings, I've been wanting to read this new book just because I'm in love with the series. And yeah, literally just that. It's coming out now in November 17th, so still a ways off, but so soon, and I'm so excited. I want to grab it immediately after it comes out, but I'm gonna have to wait a little bit until it gets delivered to me, my pre-order. But who knows, maybe I'll just pick another digital copy, because you know I am not a very patient person. But we'll see how it goes. I love the cover so much. the day that it got released and finally revealed, I literally started for like half an hour just going, oh look how pretty it is, for the whole half hour, and I can still just stare at it and drool because it's so pretty and I love it with all my heart. The last book that I want to read that it's coming out this year, it's on November 24th, and that is Ready Player 2 by Ernest Cline, the second and probably last book in the Ready Player 1 duology. And I read Ready Player 1 at the end of 2015, if I remember correctly, which I think I do. And I remember that I love the whole concept of the virtual reality, that it's the escape of everyone from this very messed up world that they have inherited. And you know, it's just such a present kind of thing too, because even though we don't have virtual realities like that as of yet, where you can literally live and make a life in, we are starting to have all of that, so it's very interesting. The whole thing and the whole trauma of the first book is that the creator of the virtual reality dies, and he creates this quest test for absolutely everyone, and they have to accomplish 3 different tasks or levels or something like that, and the winner will be rich basically and gain a lot of things. So of course everyone is competing and racing to win the game, and I thought it was so interesting a concept and so fun. It has a lot of pop culture references to the 80s, which were so fun. I would just go like, oh look, I recognize that, and it was really fun to read and just really refreshing. I don't know, I enjoyed it a lot, and I don't understand why we needed a second book. I felt like the first book was pretty self-conclusive and very good at closing everything, but you know, the movie came out and the author decided, hey, why not make a second book? I don't know what will happen in this book, but you know, precedents and all of that taken into account, I think we're gonna have a lot of fun, and I'm definitely gonna be reading it, and I'm excited about it though. You never know what you're gonna encounter, and this is a young adult sci-fi, so I'm just generally interested in it. And yeah, those are the books that I'm so excited about that are coming out this fall, and I'm excited, but I don't think I'm gonna be reading all of them this year, but you know, they're gonna be out there, and that's the exciting part because I can pick them up and read them. Tell me about any books that you are so excited that are coming out this fall, or if you are excited about one of these books and why you are excited about it. I'm really curious, and I've also realized that I never say this, but you can find me on my social media. I use Goodreads all the time, so you can definitely follow me there, and you're gonna be seeing me a lot. I'm very active, and also on my Instagram, which I'm taking a liking to. So yeah, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Give this video a big thumbs up, and don't forget to click the little bell icon so you can get notified every time I post a new video, and I see you next week. Bye!